My beloved child, when the sun stretches her arms and begins to rise above the hills, when the dew still clings to the petals of the lily and the world is hushed in a holy silence, there is a sacred moment, a pause, a breath, a whisper from eternity. That moment, my dear, is not meant for scrolling through devices or stumbling into chaos. That moment is meant for God. Before you open your mouth to speak to man, speak to God. Before you plan your schedule, honor the one who gave you time. Before your feet touch the ground, let your soul touch heaven. Because when you give God the start of your day, He gives you the strength to walk through it. You see, I've lived long enough to tell you this. Mornings are not merely a beginning. They are a promise. The world is reborn each day, and so are you. It's not just light that comes through your window. It is mercy. It is grace. It is another chance to do it better, to love deeper, to forgive stronger. And what better way to honor this gift than to give the giver your first breath, your first thought, your first thank you. When the morning breaks like a soft-spoken promise, when the darkness yields to a tender light that spills across your face and fingertips, child, you must know. This is not just a new day. It is a new beginning, wrapped in divine mercy. The clock has not simply turned. The heavens have opened to say, try again, beloved. Begin again. Now hear me. Because I speak not just from poetry, but from a place of knowing. I have lived through mornings heavy with sorrow and mornings light as dandelions dancing in the wind. And I tell you, the difference between despair and joy, between stumbling and soaring, begins with where you place your heart the moment your eyes flutter open. Before you rise and check your calendar, your phone, or the expectations that weigh like bricks on your shoulders, take pause. Take a breath and then take it to God. You see, the morning is the most sacred time. It is the hush before the chore, the moment before the world begins to shout. It is where clarity lives and where peace waits with open arms. And oh, what a shame it would be to give that sacred silence to anything but your Creator. God deserves the first, not because He demands it with fire and thunder, but because He offers you love that's patient, kind, and enduring. He is not a tyrant, but a lover of your soul. And love, true love, asks to be remembered first. So rise, and let your first words not be complaints, or worries, or sighs too heavy for a morning breeze. Let your first words be thanks. Let your first words be praise. Let your first words carry the fragrance of hope, of surrender, of faith. Good morning, Lord. Thank you for this day. That simple utterance is not small. It is a key that opens heaven's windows. When you acknowledge God before your feet even touch the ground, you are saying, I trust you more than my plans. You are saying, you are greater than the fear I woke up with. You are saying, lead me and I will follow even if the road is uncertain. And God, sweet and mighty, responds. He meets you in the quiet. He wraps Himself around your worries like a mother wraps her child in a blanket. He whispers peace over your anxious thoughts. He fills your empty cup before the world has a chance to pour in bitterness. When you give God your first child, you set the tone for everything that follows. Now, let's not pretend it's always easy. There are mornings when the alarm startles you like a thief. There are mornings when your heart is too heavy, and your mind is already 10 steps ahead, tangled in what-ifs and never-should-haves. But it is precisely on those mornings that the invitation to begin with God becomes more powerful. He is not waiting for your perfection. He is waiting for your presence. You don't have to come with eloquent prayers or rehearsed devotion. Just come. Whisper His name through cracked lips and weary soul. He will answer. You don't need to fix yourself before you come to Him. That's like trying to wash off the mud before stepping into the bath. No, come as you are, broken if you must, silent if you must, crying if you must. Just come. When you give God the beginning of your day, you're not giving Him something extra. You're returning to the source of your breath. You're aligning yourself with eternity. You're stepping into rhythm with the divine symphony that plays beneath the noise of this world. And what happens next? Oh, child, you'd be amazed. The chaos may not disappear, but suddenly you'll walk through it with a stillness in your bones. The troubles may knock, but they won't shake your foundation. You'll speak gentler. You'll listen deeper. You'll walk taller. Because when you've been with God first, the rest of the world becomes small in comparison. Do not underestimate the power of starting your day with Him. Mountains begin to shift. Doors begin to open. Strength you didn't know you had begins to rise from places you thought were dry and forgotten. And it's not because God suddenly changed the world. It's because He changed you. He steadied your hands, cleared your mind, reminded you of your worth, and wrapped your soul in courage. And that, my dear, is enough to face anything. So every morning, when the light begins to break and the birds begin to sing their ancient songs, join the chorus. Let your soul sing too. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be long. You just have to be reeling. Be present. Say, God, this day is yours. Let me walk in it with grace. Say, God, you gave me breath, and now I give you my heart. Say, God, be the first and the center and the last. Because when you give God the start of your day, you give yourself the chance to walk in purpose. You give yourself the peace to walk in storms. You give yourself the joy that isn't stolen by circumstance. You give yourself the guidance of a love that never fails. So tomorrow when you wake, don't just rise. Ascend. Don't just stretch your body. Stretch your spirit toward heaven. Lift your hands or your heart or your silent breath and give it to God. He's waiting. Not because He needs to be reminded, but because you do. Yes, child. Always give God the start of your day, and you'll find that He'll give you strength to finish it with glory. There is a beauty, my dear, in beginnings, a hush before the music, a stillness before the rise, and there is a peculiar power in those quiet, sacred moments when the sun has not yet claimed the sky, when your eyes flutter open and your spirit has yet to be clouded by the noise of the world. That, my beloved, is the moment to reach for God. When you give God your first breath, your first thought, your first thank you, you are not only honoring the Creator, you are preparing your soul for the day ahead. You are not merely praying, you are aligning. You are centering your being in something eternal, something unshakable, something holy. And let me tell you, there is a holy armor that wraps itself around those who seek the face of God before seeking the face of the world. There is a covering that goes beyond fabric, beyond flesh, beyond understanding. When you choose to begin your day with Him, He clothes you in peace. He girds you with grace. He anoints your head with clarity, and He fills your hands with strength. Now, child, I've walked through storms that would have swept me off my feet had I not knelt before God at daybreak. I've stood on battlefields where words were arrows and silence was a sword. And still I stood, not because I was mighty, but because I had made time for the mighty one. You see, when you give God the beginning, He gives you the strength to handle the middle and the end. When you lift your soul to heaven before lifting a finger to the day, something divine shifts. The weight that threatened to break you becomes light in His hands. The chaos that waited outside your door finds no entrance, because peace has already taken residence within. And let me say this, you don't need to come with polished words or grand declarations. No, baby, God is not looking for eloquence. He is looking for sincerity, for humility, for a heart that says, I can't do this alone, Lord. Walk with me. When you whisper that morning prayer, even if your voice trembles, even if the tears have already come, God hears you. He leans in close. He draws near to the brokenhearted, and He builds strongholds for the faithful. You give Him the start of your day, and he builds the rest on a rock that no man can shake. It's a holy exchange, you see. You give God your first, and he gives you his best. Your sleepy eyes open and say, "Here I am, Lord." And heaven responds, "Here I am, child." You don't step into the world alone. You step into it guided by the very hand that parted seas, that calmed storms, that healed wounds with just a word. That same hand rests upon you when you rise in reverence. And don't let the world trick you into thinking that morning devotion is just a routine for the righteous. No. It's a lifeline. It's the breath that sustains you before the noise of life tries to drown you out. It's the light that guides your feet before you've even taken your first step. When you rise and give God your first, you silence the lies before they start. You tame the fear before it grows. You shut the door to confusion and open the window to wisdom. That's why the enemy fights your mornings so hard. He knows the power of a woman or man who begins their day in God. He knows that once you've put on your armor of praise, once you've dipped your tongue in prayer, once you've been wrapped in divine light, there ain't no force in hell that can stop you. So don't give away your mornings to worry. Don't let stress steal what was meant to be sacred. Don't allow routine to make you forget the reason. Start each day as if you are standing on holy ground. Because you are. Every morning you wake up is not a coincidence. It is a gift. It is an offering. It is an open door that heaven has extended to you once more. And how you enter that door matters. Enter it with thanksgiving. Enter it with expectation. Enter with humility. Enter it with God. Don't wait until the problems arise. Don't wait until the storms rage. Don't wait until the burden is too heavy. Start with him. Start for him. Because when you start your day in prayer, you start with power. There is something unexplainably sweet about a soul that rises before the sun and says, "Father, I'm yours. Keep me. Use me." That soul walks differently. That soul speaks differently. That soul shines even in the shadows. You want to know how the saints of old endured. How your grandmother, with her aching knees and tired back, still managed to smile in the face of struggle. It wasn't luck. It wasn't money. It wasn't education. It was that she knew how to begin her day with God. That old woman rose with the dawn, knelt by her bedside, and whispered names to heaven. She poured oil over her day before it had the chance to turn bitter. She spoke life over her family before the world could speak death. She laid a foundation that no storm could crack because she understood the power of putting God first. And now, I tell you, carry that legacy. Be the one who begins with the divine. Let the world call it strange. Let them say you're too spiritual. Let them call you old-fashioned. You just smile because you know there is strength in surrender. There is power in praise. There is victory in reverence. When you give God the beginning of your day, you are saying to the universe, "I know who holds my future." You are telling every demon, every doubt, every dark thing that waits to challenge your PC, "I've already been with God, and I am not afraid." So, my dear, make it a holy habit. Before your feet touch the floor, before your hands reach for the world, lift your heart to heaven. Let your soul sing a morning hymn. Let your breath be soaked in gratitude. Let your spirit speak before your schedule does. Because when you give God your first, he will give you strength, grace, and light. To walk the day with confidence, to fight the battles with courage, and to rest at night in peace. There is something sacred about giving, not the kind of giving that's done in public for praise or applause. No baby. I'm talking about that quiet, intentional, deeply personal giving. The kind you do when no one is looking but heaven. That kind of giving is the trust kind. And among all the gifts you can offer, there is one that ripples into every corner of your life, giving God your best. Now we live in a world where leftovers have become the norm. We give our energy to everything and everyone. We pour out ourselves into deadlines, distractions, disappointments. We rise each morning and chase business like it's a blessing. But when the dust settles and the rush fades, what do we offer God? A tired prayer, a rushed whisper, a distracted nod. Oh, child, that's not how it ought to be. God is not your afterthought. He is not the last seat at your table. He is not the one you visit when you've run out of other options. No, beloved, God is the breath that fills your lungs, the love that wakes you up, the power that walks beside you, and the mercy that carries you when you can't walk yourself. He deserves not what is left over, but what is first, what is pure, what is best. There is a rhythm to reverence, a beat to belief. And when you begin your day by giving God your best, your full heart, your clear mind, your honest soul, you step into that rhythm. You walk in step with the divine. You see, when you rise in the morning, before the world has put its fingerprints on your thoughts, before the headlines shake your faith, before your schedule screams for your attention, that moment is rich with purpose. That's when your offering is untainted. That's when your praise is pure. That's when your gift is most powerful. Don't save your praise for after the storm has passed. Don't wait to call his name once you've climbed out of the valley. Start with him. Give him your morning joy, your morning tears, your morning breath. Let your first inhale be worship. Let your first exhale be trust. Because giving God your best doesn't mean waiting until everything is perfect. It means offering your heart in the mess. It means praying when you don't have the words. It means singing when your voice shakes. It means trusting when your world doesn't make sense. That, my dear, is your best. And God honors that. Now, don't confuse best with performance. You don't need a stage. You don't need fancy words. You don't need to sound like the preacher or the poet. All you need is truth. A truth that rises from the deepest part of your being and says, Lord, I give you all I am. Not what I've perfected, not what I've polished, but what is real. There is something so powerful about realness. When you give God your best, you're not giving him the filtered version of you. You're not giving him what you think he wants. You're giving him you, the raw, unedited, wide-open version. And that, child, is the gift that reaches heaven. So don't hold back. Don't shrink your praise to fit the mold of tradition or routine. Don't hide your need behind pride. Don't tuck your pain behind a smile. Bring it all, lay it bare. That's your best. Think of the widow in the scriptures who gave just 2 small coins. It wasn't much in the world's eyes. But in God's eyes, it was everything. Because she gave out of her soul, not her surplus. She gave with reverence, not reluctance. She gave first. And heaven took notice. The same is true for you. When you give God your best, heaven leans in. Angels hush. Grace begins to flow. Doors begin to open. Peace begins to settle. But when you give God your leftovers, what's left after your energy is spent, after your time is gone, after your joy is drained, it's like offering cold ashes instead of fire. It's like giving bruised fruit instead of the harvest's first bloom. God isn't looking for perfection, child. He's looking for priority. Ask yourself this: does God get the first beat of your morning or the last breath of your night? Does he get the whole heart or just the piece that's left after the world has had its way with you? The answer isn't meant to shame you. It's meant to wake you. Because when you begin to give God your best, you'll see that your best becomes better. Your mornings carry more joy. Your steps feel more steady. Your words hold more weight. Your peace becomes unshakable. There is a richness that comes when your soul is aligned with heaven, and that richness cannot be bought, faked, or borrowed. It is born out of devotion, out of reverence, out of love. And love, true love, doesn't give what's easy. It gives what matters. So give God the best of your words. Let them be soaked in gratitude and faith. Give him the best of your time, offering the morning when your mind is still and the world hasn't yet pulled you away. Give him the best of your intentions, not only to be blessed, but to be a blessing. Let your life become an offering. Let your day begin at the altar. Let your soul rise before your body does and say, "This is yours, Lord. This time, this moment."
This heart.
You don't need to wait until the stage is set. Right where you are, your kitchen, your bedside, your car seat in the early dawn. That's holy ground when God is present. And when you give him your best, the sacred visits the simple. The miraculous walks into the ordinary. So don't offer God what's left after the world has used you up. Offer him your best. Because when you put him first, he turns broken things into beauty, ashes into anointing, mournings into miracles. Yes, my child, give him your best. Not because he needs it, but because you do. And in return, he will give you a life soaked in purpose, lit with peace, and carried by grace. There is a rhythm to life, child, and each day plays its part in the symphony of your becoming. Just as the sun rises in quiet obedience, just as the tides roll in and roll out with the dignity of the moon's command, so too does your soul long for order, a divine order. And nothing, no nothing, orders your steps quite like beginning your day with the Lord. There's something powerful, something holy about the start of a thing. The start carries intention. The start holds the seed of everything that will come after. If you plant love in the beginning, joy will bloom in the middle and peace will guard you at the end. But if you begin with fear, or anger or distraction, your harvest will carry that weight too. That is why, my sweet child, the first moments of your day are not just minutes. They are miracles in waiting. What you do with them determines the posture of your spirit. And when you give those first few moments to God, when you whisper his name into the dawn, when you open your heart before you open your emails, when you kneel before you rise, he takes those moments and breathes upon them. He multiplies them. He sanctifies them. And the rest of your day falls in line. You see, a day that begins in the presence of God walks with a different kind of grace. Troubles may still come knocking, but they won't knock you down. People may still try to steal your joy, but it won't slip from your hands so easily. Because you've already built a foundation, and baby, when the foundation is divine, no storm can shake the structure. You walk different when you've talked with God before you've talked with anyone else. You carry yourself with a holy steadiness. Your feet move with clarity. Your heart beats with compassion. You don't respond to every insult. You don't react to every shadow, because your spirit has already been fed by the light. Now don't get it twisted. This ain't about performance. This ain't about religion wrapped in rules. This is about relationship, about communion, about leaning in close to the one who knows you best and loves you most. When you start your day with him, he doesn't just guide your schedule. He guides your spirit. He doesn't just bless your tasks. He blesses your thoughts. He doesn't just give you strength. He gives you peace that makes no sense to the world. And Lord knows the world will try to rob you before you even step out the door. The noise, the pressure, the endless to-do lists, the small heartbreaks, the big fears. They all line up, waiting to knock on the door of your soul. But when God is already there, already sitting in the center of your day, they have no place to land. You start with God, and you don't just survive. You rise. You rise above the chaos, above the drama, above the temptation to rush or worry or snap. You rise with intention. You rise with joy. You rise with a knowing that you are not alone in the hours that lie ahead. And listen here, beloved, time given to God is never wasted. It is invested. It is multiplied. You may think you're too busy to sit in stillness, to whisper a prayer, to crack open that Bible, but child, let me tell you, your spirit can't afford not to. A day not started with God is like a journey without a compass, like a meal without bread, like a song with no melody. You can move through it, sure, but there'll be something missing. There'll be a piece of you still hungry, still wandering, still waiting. But when you begin with Him, everything changes. Your morning becomes more than a routine. It becomes a revival. Your home becomes more than a shelter. It becomes a sanctuary. Your words become more than sound. They become balm. And your steps, oh honey, your steps become part of something divine. Because starting with God means you're walking in step with heaven. It means your choices are no longer guided by impulse or fear, but by wisdom. It means your spirit is tuned to a frequency that hears God's whisper in the midst of the world's noise. Now, I know some mornings don't feel holy. I know there are days when you wake up and the weight of it all comes crashing in. But even then, especially then, begin with Him. Start with your sigh. Start with your tears. Start with your silence. Just start. You don't have to feel spiritual to be faithful. You don't have to be loud to be heard by God. You don't even have to speak. Just be still, and He will meet you there. And baby, once He's in your morning, He'll be in your afternoon too. He'll be in the middle of that meeting you're dreading. He'll be in the hallway when you need courage. He'll be in the silence when the world doesn't understand you. He'll be in the laughter and in the ache. Because you welcomed Him at the beginning, He'll stay until the end. So let your morning be your offering. Let the first words that rise from your lips be words of praise, not complaint. Let your first breath be gratitude, not worry. Let your first thought be surrender, not strategy. Because when you give God the beginning, He blesses the middle and secures the end. He walks with you. He whispers wisdom. He fights battles you never even knew were coming. And He does it all because you honored Him first. So tomorrow, when the light creeps through your window and the day begins again, don't just rise. Rise intentionally. Rise with purpose. Rise with God. Start with Him, and I promise you, He'll finish the day with you. He'll carry you when you're weak. He'll calm you when you're restless. He'll guide you when you're lost. And He'll rejoice with you when you win. Start with Him, and you won't just go through your day. You'll grow through it. You'll move from wary to wise, from rushed to rooted, from scattered to sacred. Because when you start your day with God, you are not just living, you are living on purpose. There is a quiet truth, my darling, tucked deep in the folds of our daily living. A truth that too many overlook, too many forget, and far too many abandon in the hustle of the world. And it is this: when you make it a daily habit to seek God in the morning, you don't just awaken your body, you awaken your relationship with the divine. See, relationships need tending. They need water. They need warmth. They need presence. And your relationship with God is no different. You cannot build intimacy with absence. You cannot hear His voice if you do not lean in close. You cannot feel His arms if you keep running past His embrace. But oh, child, when you rise each day with a yearning for heaven, when your first thought, your first whisper, your first breath belongs to the Lord, you build a bridge between earth and glory, a pathway between the dust of your life and the majesty of God's heart. And that bridge, walked daily, becomes a sacred road that leads you not just to blessings, but to belonging. Each morning is a chance to draw near. Each morning is a call to come closer. Each morning, God waits, not in impatience, not in demand, but in love. He waits not because He needs your words, but because He longs for your presence. Yes, my dear, the Creator of the stars desires your company. Imagine that. This is not religion, this is relationship. And relationships are nourished in the regular, in the everyday, in the rhythm of repetition. A husband and wife grow in lot not only through grand gestures, but through quiet conversation, through shared mornings, through the sacredness of time spent. And so it is with you and God. When you make seeking Him a habit, something happens. Oh yes, something happens. You begin to recognize His voice, not just in church pews or preachers' words, but in the wind that brushes your face, in the birds that serenade the dawn, in the way your heart skips when He whispers, I am here. That kind of knowing, child, does not come in a rush. It comes in the stillness of repeated mornings. It comes in the kneeling when no one is watching. It comes in the choice to show up every day, even when the skies are gray, even when your heart is tired, even when your faith is small. Because let me tell you, faith grows best in the soil of consistency. 1 day becomes 3. 3 days become 7. A week becomes a month. And before you know it, you're not just visiting God, you're dwelling with Him. He becomes not just your Savior, but your friend. Not just your provider, but your confidant. Not just your Lord, but your daily joy. And you'll begin to see it too, in the way peace settles on you like morning dew, in the way strength rises in you like the sun, in the way wisdom finds you even in silence. That's what happens when you give God your mornings faithfully. Not perfectly, but faithfully, day by day, word by word, breath by sacred breath. There will be mornings when the world feels too loud and God feels too far. There will be days when your prayers feel dry and your spirit feels dull. But press on, child. Press in. Keep showing up. Because relationships are not always fireworks and fanfare. Sometimes they are quiet, simple, and still. And that stillness is holy too. God is not measuring your eloquence. He is watching your heart. He is not grading your prayers. He is receiving your presence. He is not counting your words. He is counting your devotion. And oh, what power lies in devotion. Devotion is what carried our grandmothers through the days of no options. It is what gave strength to our ancestors who woke up before dawn, bent tired knees, and still managed to whisper, Thank you, Lord. It is what kept the weary soul from giving up and the broken heart from staying shattered. Devotion is not dramatic, but it is divine. So if you want to hear Him more clearly, seek Him more often. If you want to know Him more deeply, meet Him more faithfully. If you want to love Him more fully, greet Him each morning like a long-awaited friend. Don't wait for Sunday. Don't wait for a crisis. Don't wait until you're empty. Come to Him full of breath, full of life, full of questions. Come messy. Come real. Come honest. Because when seeking God becomes your habit, His presence becomes your home. And in His presence, child, there is fullness of joy. In His presence, there is peace that surpasses understanding. In His presence, there is strength for the weary and hope for the hopeless. In His presence, chains break, fear flees, and love abounds. So rise each day with a purpose bigger than your plans. Rise with a hunger that no breakfast can satisfy. Rise with a yearning for more than the world can give, and give that yearning to God. Let your first moments be holy. Let your eyes open not just to light, but to light. Let your feet hit the floor with praise. Let your heart beat to the rhythm of worship. Let your soul declare, This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it.